Reach your hand to the back of your neck right now and physically touch the very base of your skull, because hiding just beneath that bone is a complex biological serpent that actively dictates your entire perception of reality. For centuries, mainstream academics completely dismissed ancient mythological texts as primitive fairy tales, actively laughing at the vivid descriptions of powerful serpent gods ruling the underground depths of the world. But I have noticed a massive, undeniable shift quietly happening at the bleeding edge of modern medical science. Elite neurologists are mapping the human nervous system with unprecedented precision, discovering that the ancient sages were not writing fantasy fiction at all. They were actually creating a highly sophisticated, rigorously coded anatomical map of the human bioelectrical system. Today, we are going to decode the profound mystery of the Naga, the ancient serpent deities, by directly bridging them with hard, empirical neurobiology. We are going to strictly prove that the legendary Kundalini serpent is not just a mystical metaphor, but a highly accurate description of your central nervous system, your vagus nerve, and the foundational architecture of the human brain. To properly decode this profound ancient science, we must radically shift how we read these texts. When modern people hear the word Naga, they immediately imagine literal giant snakes slithering through physical dirt in a mythological underworld heavily known as Patala. But I want you to look at this strictly through the lens of a brilliant biological architect. If you lived thousands of years ago, long before the invention of modern MRI machines or electronic microscopes, and needed to accurately describe a dynamic electrical pathway that beautifully coils its way up the human spine, what exact symbol would you purposefully choose? You would absolutely choose a serpent. A serpent perfectly embodies a powerful undulating energy that lies completely dormant until it is actively provoked. The ancient sages did not have the modern Latin medical vocabulary we casually use today, so they utilized universally understood natural symbols to securely encode highly advanced anatomical knowledge. In my opinion, the absolute greatest structural analogy to understand this ancient code is to view the human body strictly as a highly advanced biological supercomputer. Your physical flesh and bones are simply the raw hardware, but your central nervous system, running from the base of your spine directly up into the center of your brain, is the massive, high-speed fiber optic cable that powers the entire machine. The ancient yogic sciences heavily described an incredibly powerful, dormant energy called Kundalini, explicitly visualizing it as a coiled serpent resting exactly at the base of the human spine. When successfully awakened through strict meditative protocols, this serpent aggressively uncoils and travels straight up the central channel, violently activating higher states of human consciousness. For decades, Western medicine aggressively categorized this completely as spiritual nonsense. Yet, when you map this ancient serpent directly onto a modern neuroanatomical chart, the precise structural alignment is completely undeniable. At the exact location where the ancient texts strictly position the sleeping Kundalini serpent, modern science beautifully maps the complex sacral plexus and the massive bundle of spinal nerves. As this bioelectrical energy powerfully travels upward, it perfectly follows the exact physical pathway of the human spinal cord, the absolute main information highway of the biological supercomputer. But the scientific correlation becomes completely mind-blowing when we closely examine the massive wandering nerve that fundamentally controls our parasympathetic nervous system. Modern medical science heavily studies the vagus nerve, a profound neural pathway that physically wanders from the brainstem, elegantly coiling and twisting its way directly down through the major organs of the body, regulating your heart rate, your digestion, and your deep internal calm. The precise physical behavior, the undulating shape, and the supreme biological importance of the vagus nerve flawlessly mirror the ancient descriptions of the serpent energy, actively connecting the lower physical realms to the higher cognitive centers. This biological connection becomes undeniably precise when we strictly analyze the literal destination of this upward-traveling energy. The ancient scriptures constantly describe the Nagas as heavily residing in Patala, the absolute lowest, most foundational realm of the cosmic architecture. In the strict study of human evolutionary neurobiology, the oldest, most foundational, and primitive section of the human brain is officially classified by modern science as the basal ganglia and the brainstem. In the medical community, this specific foundational structure is literally referred to as the reptilian brain. This is absolutely not a coincidence. This specific lower region of the brain completely handles our most primal survival instincts, controlling our autonomous breathing, our heartbeat, and our raw physical reactions. The ancient scientists flawlessly understood that human consciousness strictly begins in this reptilian base. The profound goal of the ancient meditative sciences was never to actively suppress this primal serpent, but to purposefully harness its massive biological power and intentionally guide that heavy bioelectrical energy directly up into the highly advanced neocortex, perfectly unlocking elite cognitive performance. When you finally realize that the intricate statues of intertwined serpents, beautifully carved into ancient temple walls, are actually flawless, highly detailed anatomical diagrams of the human central nervous system, your entire perception of human history must radically change. The ancient world was not populated by primitive humans blindly worshipping literal reptiles. They were elite, highly advanced neuroscientists, completely utilizing a beautiful, natural symbolic language to rigorously document the deepest bioelectrical secrets of human anatomy. By successfully bridging this profound ancient symbolism with modern hard empirical science, we completely strip away the shallow cultural misunderstandings that currently divide our world. We successfully reclaim a deeply unified, universally applicable understanding of human biology and cognitive consciousness. The physical hardware of the human nervous system operates exactly the same way across all geographical borders, making this ancient scientific framework absolutely relevant to every single human being alive on this planet today. We desperately need to shatter the artificial walls built between ancient spiritual sciences and modern neurobiology. It is an absolute necessity for our intellectual evolution moving forward into the future. These two distinct fields are describing the exact same biological reality, simply using a different vocabulary. I urgently need you to smash the like button right now, because that physical action mathematically forces the algorithm to push this uncompromising truth directly into the mainstream digital ecosystem. Then go straight down into the comments section and tell me exactly how this structural neurobiological framework shifts your internal perspective. Does knowing that the ancient serpent gods represent your own central nervous system change how you view these historical myths? Make absolutely sure you are strictly subscribed to this educational channel with the notification bell fully activated so you never miss these uncompromising scientific deep dives. Keep your biological supercomputer actively optimized and highly maintained. Always vigorously question the surface-level historical labels you have been casually taught, and I will strictly see you in the very next one.